And what is love? Hey, everybody. Thanks for tuning in, checking out, and seeing what's going on. I'm Pastor Adam. So glad you're here. I've got that question for you. What is love? It is a hotly debated topic about what is love. Well, love is love. Well, love is this. Love looks like this. Love sounds like this. It is a very confusing topic to talk about. And so I'm here to tell you what the Bible says about it on today's New Testament Tuesday. Check this out from Second John chapter 1 verse 6. And this is love. He gives a definition here that we walk in obedience to his commands. As you have heard from the beginning, his command is that you walk in love. Now you may go, wait a minute. That's a little confusing, right? Well, he says, here's my definition of love is to obey the commands of him, his commands. Who's him? It's God. We want to follow God's commands. That is how we walk in obedience, is follow God's commands, and that is love. But what's the second part here? He says, as you've heard from the beginning, his command is that you walk in love. Okay, so to love is to walk in God's commands, which is to walk in love. Seems like this little redundant circle being made here, and that might be a little confusing. So let me do what all of us should do is go back and look to see what Jesus said. Jesus says in the Gospels quite a few times about when he's challenged with what are the greatest commandments. And Jesus says this: the first and greatest commandment is to love God. The second is to love your neighbor as yourself. And I think this diagram, this kind of circle that John here is making, is saying when he says that what is love, but to follow and obey God's commands, is what Jesus said. That's the greatest commandment, is to love God. How do you show love to God? Is by obeying his commands. And what is the second part is, as you've heard from the beginning, his command is that you walk in love. Well, that's loving our neighbor as ourselves. So what is love but to follow God, to love his people? I'm Pastor Adam. This is New Testament Tuesday. I'll see you next time.